Welcome everybody to the patch 27.17 tier list. In this video, we're going to be ranking all of the mid lane champions in their respective tiers. And joining me today is multi-seasonal Giga High Challenger player AJ. Welcome AJ, what's up? And we got some massive changes. All right, Riot did some good stuff, in my opinion. I think they're finally putting some power in these mid lane changes. And we're going to probably see a little bit of a meta shakeup. So let's start with the big boys, the Wind Brothers.
The Wind
AJ,
Brothers, yeah.
What's going on
you
here?
You see the big smile on my face, guys. How many years has Yone been in the trenches, guys? It's finally Yone's time to be OP, right? It's finally time. So let's just recap first. Let's start with why he was low. And then we'll talk about how he progressed. What were the buffs? What were the changes? And what's allowed him to now, I'm going to spoil it, I think he's S+ tier now.
Ooh.
Right? Okay, so let's start from the beginning, right? Why was Yone been so bad the last 2 years? Well, biggest thing, pace of the game improved, right? Second nerf, D-Shield got nerfed a while back. Third nerf, Fleet got nerfed, right? Fourth nerf, Bork got nerfed. So a lot of the tools Yone had to play the game got slowly changed. The game got faster, and his ability to navigate faster-paced games and higher elos got worse and worse and worse, right? So that caused him to kind of taper off and fall off and get weaker. Not to mention, he didn't really have a good crit attack speed 80 item. He's been missing that for literally years, right? So what have Riot done? They introduced Debo. That gave him a lot more laning power early game against these melee champions. This last patch, they buffed Fleet, right? They buffed Yone, which is a good crit attack speed item. That lets you get online faster. They've been buffing Stormrazor, right? I think they did a minor buff to Second Wind at some point or something for melees. I don't remember. Or Fleet or Absorb Life, something like that. They slowly buffed the sustain runes. And now we're at the point where on this patch, they're buffing his crit damage ratio by, I think if you have IE, it's about a 14% more damage buff with IE or something.
What?
Something crazy like that.
Because this is fake, right? This is not 5%. This is 10%.
It's more. Yeah. It's more.
Or how does this work again?
Yeah, because it's a reduction. So instead of your crits doing 190, they're doing I think 195, which is more than a 5% jump in damage, right? The percentage of damage increases more than that.
Right.
So and then once you have IE, remember the IE is getting reduced by the crit damage more, right? So when you take that away, you're getting actually extra than 10%. It's even more. It's like 14% or something like that. Ooh. So this is a ridiculous buff for him, right? Okay. And so I'm actually gonna make a Yone item guide because it's been years since Bork was not the best item, and now Bork is no longer the best item in my opinion.
You think Bork's
there'll be some games where you can go Bork still. You can Rise or Cassiopeia Hell Stackers. Otherwise, no. I think Yone or Stormrazor is going to be miles ahead, miles ahead. And Berserker. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Berserker Greaves boss as well. Yeah. Right. So I'm really, as you guys can tell, I'm really excited over these changes, and I think all these changes is going to allow number one, Yone to be able to play the game a lot faster now with the Fleet buffs. Number two, the crit scaling allows him to be a lot more bursty, right? And number three, the lifesteal from Berserkers allows you to go a non-lifesteal item, right? Which is really, really important on Yone. Or you can even opt to an armor, like a tank boots, right? With Yone gets so much attack speed now after the buffs to it, right? You actually don't even need Berserker Greaves. You can go armor boots, you can go mercs, and with Fleet, you're really happy. And I played a few games and it felt really fucking strong. Really, really strong. So I think easy Yone's S+ tier. A lot of his weaknesses have been shored up. You can go Debo when you need to be aggressive, right? You can go Fleet when you need to be defensive. Obviously, still really difficult, right? So a lot of you will probably still struggle if you're learning him. But I think objectively speaking, just from a high level standpoint, he's ridiculous now. He's going to be ridiculous.
Oh, all right. I've seen some Yone pop up already since last patch. I think he had some matchups that were still really brutal.
Yep.
OP S tier. But he also had some matchups where if you couldn't really break through him, he would actually be a really annoying little rat around the rift. And I think that his flexibility, especially right now, being hit with like the builds, of course, where the crit damage reduction is down, I think that's a really interesting change. I kind of like the way that Riot's going, because I do also think that this, in the longer term, will make it easier to balance Yone. That's my guess, because it's going to be very clear when he deals too much damage, right? And then they might fucking hit his sustain in the lane and do something else like that.
Yeah, because the Bork was too unbalanced, too hard to balance, because you get the sustain, you get the slow, right? You get the scaling from Bork. So I think the more they can shift the power from Bork, like you said, the easier it is to fine tune his sustain. That's right.
Right. And so what do you think the core first item is going to be right now? What's your hunch? Because Stormrazor is also getting a small buff, right?
Yeah, so I don't want to go too in depth. I could literally spend 30 minutes on it. But basically, depending on the game when you load in, is going to that's going to decide your rune and your starting item, your first item you buy, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in a lane where you can get away getting for BF sword and you get squishies, you go Stormrazor. If you're in a game where you can get away with BF sword and you're against tanky targets, you go Yone. If you're in a game where the game is faster paced, you'll go Phantom Dancer first. That will be the trajectory, okay? So all three of those items are very good on their own right, viable for different reasons, and that's kind of a brief overview of when you go. Just real quick, you won the Synapsis, that's what it is.
Love basically. It. Great stuff. So, Yone, you're going to say S+?
I think so. I think Yasuo as well.
Yasuo for sure. I've started pre-betting Yasuo, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm practicing versing all the other annoying champs like Zed, so I can eventually start betting Yasuo and not see this champ in my games. Yeah, so...
Yasuo is already really good, I think.
Yeah. He might just become OP tier.
He might be OP tier, yeah.
We'll put him on top here with brothers, but we're going to keep in mind what these guys are going to do. So yeah, stay tuned for the win
I think Yone deserves it. I think Yone deserves it. It's been too long since he's been this OP, like this strong. Right?
Yeah, I think he gets 2 patches and then it's probably done. Yeah, because then World starts and the LCK playoffs, everyone's playing Yone. And then Riot's like, whoa, that's a problem. We can't have Yone every game at Worlds.
Yeah, definitely. My baby, getting some love here.
And all I'm saying, there's still no Syndra nerfs.
Yeah, that's crazy because no one complains. You guys listening to this podcast, you guys need to start complaining more about.
No.
Start complaining.
Listen up. I've been watching pro play. Okay, I've seen Chovy play Syndra, right? And honestly, he's a really fucking good player, but he's not that good of a Syndra, man. A lot of these pro players don't fully understand what this champ can do, especially when it comes to ball placement and ball setup. They don't really understand how to use their Q. No, they're not good with playing. Hey, you gotta have some skills whenever you play Syndra, you know? So yeah, keep it going, Riot. Riot's doing a fantastic job. Talking about Riot doing a fantastic job, the best change they have ever made in 1.5 years' time is here on the patch. What do you think it is?
Well, the Yone buffs?
No, it's not the Yone buffs. It's the LeBlanc buffs. Exactly. Of course, it's the LeBlanc buffs. Now, let me give you a bit of...
They listen. They listen. They look at our champs. They're buffing both of the champs we play. Azir got buffed.
So good.
Yone got buffed. LeBlanc.
So good. And let me give you a bit of story, right? My LeBlanc journey, okay? I was always the LeBlanc guy. Before I was the Syndra guy, I was the LeBlanc guy, okay? And this was literally my baby champion. And that was the old model with the championship skin. That was my signature rock. And what happened is that they changed the attack speed growth on LeBlanc in the past because everyone was playing fucking 80 LeBlanc. Yeah. And because of that reason, LeBlanc's auto attacks start feeling clunky. And then they also changed her model. And then her auto attacks start going extra clunky. So I was cancelling out at left and right. The model was ugly as shit, the new one. So this champion, instead of me loving the champ, became a fucking hate relationship with this champion. But this might save it. This change might save it. Now, in the big picture, what you got to keep in mind, the attack speed growth actually goes down a little bit, even though the attack speed ratio goes up. But the value of the attack speed shard is now higher than it was before, right? And that makes up that extra tiny bit of smoothness that will probably help you massively in lane. And it's going to open up some extra auto-attack combos as well in the lane. Like, it's going to make canceling your auto-attacks easier. Trading is going to be even more annoying versus LeBlanc. This is a big deal, guys. Big deal. And then we're talking W and RW AP ratio. Now, at first glance... they went from like 70 to 90 in like 3 months or something like that. But this may not seem like a super big deal at first glance, all right? But 10% AP ratio on a champ that plays with Threshold is, of course, big. And you use your RW a lot because it's also like a really flexible way of going about your combo usage, right? You're super flexible because you can always reposition. So RW and W, you use all the time, very OP. Now, very nice when it comes to thresholds, but LeBlanc was generally overkilling most people already anyway. What this really matters is in regards to wave clear. Because usually you kind of needed Ludens, especially if you weren't super far ahead of the curve, otherwise you couldn't kill casters. with this extra 10% AP ratio, Ludens may not be necessary anymore. We might be in a position where we can rock Storm Surge first instead of Ludens.
That's
and then we take Mana Flow Band instead of Transcendence, and we just combine it with Scorch. And suddenly you're rocking an immense amount of burst damage. And what's going to happen is that you got 6% move speed on Storm Surge that you don't initially get on Ludens whenever you play LeBlanc. What's LeBlanc's biggest annoying thing? She can be everywhere the moment she's head in lane, translate her lead. So this move speed is a really big deal on her as well. LeBlanc is going to be a fucking mosquito running around the map, stinging people, killing them. Very annoying champion. I think LeBlanc will be giga buffed, actually.
Yeah. Not to mention, last patch they buffed Sorks and nerfed Mercs, which is the counter to LeBlanc.
Yes. LeBlanc is
the more the more insane the seems. Yeah.
Yes, she is. I got my new LeBlanc poster. The moment I saw these LeBlanc changes, I bought that thing. Literally, that was my mind. I was like, she's fucking back, dude. She's fucking back.
Crazy. I need my Yone one now. You inspired me.
So, thinking about it, right? LeBlanc may be S+ tier as well. She may be S+ tier. She eats Ahri, right? Yep. She does well into Aurora. She's fine into Akali. She might be able to stat check Ryze. Still not easy because it's a Catalyst user. She does good into Syndra. Playable into Cassio. Even though that she goes Catalyst, it's playable. Yasuo's like the only ugly matchup. Yone is easy as fuck. Akshan's playable. So LeBlanc is good matchups, dude. She can play the game.
Seem really good. Yeah.
I'm gonna put her in S+ tier. We're gonna need to make some shifts, AJ. We got a lot of strong.
We got a lot of strong champs.
A lot of strong champs. Okay, we talked about Yone, Yasuo, LeBlanc. Next up, we're gonna do Irelia. Irelia's a champ we've not really touched upon all that often.
A while.
Yeah, and the reason why that's the case is because she doesn't really have a super big place in the meta. AP junglers aren't super prevalent, therefore she's not really played on mid all that often. She's kind of played on top in a counter pick every once in a while versus Gnar and shit. But on mid lane, it's pretty hard for her to play. Short lane as well, which means that it's easy to get, of course, bad wave states and hard to unfreeze because of the turret. And there's a lot of action, especially with supports, right? Roaming around the map. She can't really find her all-ins all that well. I would say that probably in the previous patch, she would probably be a C tier champ instead of B tier. I think we kind of forgot.
Yeah, a little more counter pick.
Yeah. Now, the support meta is still roam-like. I still don't think the supports are getting punished enough.
Enchanters. Yeah.
Exactly. So, because of that reason, I think that Aurelia probably still C tier, but she's getting a little bit of a Q damage buff. What do you think this Q damage buff does to her?
Yeah, to me, I don't think this Q damage buff is a massive change. Like, the only thing I can think of, I'm not an Irelia expert. You guys will have to consult Irelia expert, but this should change some timers where your WQ kills the casters, right? Or auto Q kills the casters, right? Which will help a lot with your setups, right? So I think that's really the only change, because 70 to 80% is not that much. You don't build that much AD items on Irelia, right? Or like the AD items you buy don't have a lot of AD. Sorry, that's what I meant, right?
Yeah.
Like Bork has like 40 only, the heal hole breaker is only like what 40 or 35. Death Dance is like only 40. So like it's not like you're building these huge, massive 80 items, right? They're kind of more bruisery. So it's not a huge amount of damage difference. I think this is more just Riot saying like, hey guys, Irelia is a champ. Like she's pretty good as a counter pick. Like you guys should play her. I feel like that's more of the vibe I get with this change, right?
It's a buff for good Aurelias. Good Aurelias get buff with it because they can get multiple rotations of Q in, and they can then get like 3 times the Q, which is of course 30% AD ratio. It's nice. It's a bit of extra damage. I don't think it changes much. I think she's still C tier. I don't think makes her become B tier.
Better blind. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's too many other strong champs, dude. The mid lane power creep.
It's like buffing.
Yeah, dude.
Buffing the mid lane. Because we were complaining about this actually.
Yeah,
like, what was
start of the year.
Start of the year, we were like, yo, Riot, start buffing some of these mids,
We were so mid. Midlane was so weak at the start of the year, dude. Holy shit. With those nerfs to Talia and Ryze and shit, midlane was so disgustingly weak. And then they started buffering everything. We got DFT.
They made that fire touch.
Yeah, and now we're just back, right?
Midlane quest buffed, yeah.
I would say that midlane currently is a bit on the stronger side.
Yeah, definitely. It's on the stronger roles.
Yeah, it's on the stronger side. It's on the stronger side. But hey, we're fair and honest mid laners. We call it out whenever we're weak as shit and when we feel like we have no impact.
Even our own champs. I'm not gonna cope when Yone is OP. I'll say it, guys.
Syndra isn't OP. Buffer some more.
Alright, get this guy off of me.
Alright, Qiyana. Qiyana gets a little bit off.
I have no idea why they're buffing this.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? She gets a little bit of bonus AD on her Q, and a little bit of flat damage on her Q.
Crazy amount.
Yeah, so why is this pretty annoying here?
Yeah, so I think first of all, Qiyana, like you said, like LeBlanc's a threshold champion, right? Which means you either 100-0 someone or you don't, and you don't do anything, right?
Yep.
So I think anytime you get base damage buffs, already that's really big because at the start of the game, your base damage is all you got, right? So that might change your wave clear breakpoint potentially early game, so you can tempo reset, escape these harder lanes. Your all in might go from barely someone surviving at 20 health to killing them. Makes the Conqueror all in build better, right? Because the AD ratio is buffed.
Yeah, even with Electrocute, right? She just fucking
even with Electrocute, yeah. Like not to mention with Qiyana is you build high AD items, right? Like it kind of inverse Irelia. The items you build are lethality items. They have huge amounts of AD on it. Like think about Hubris. So many people go Hubris on Qiyana. That fucking item gives you like 80 AD.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean?
I think that item is stupid, by the way. Hubris.
Yeah, bad design, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah. It's a Graves running around with Hubris, 30 stacks on the fucking thing, one-shotting me, Jock Show, unkillable. Very interesting.
But, yeah, I think that Qiyana's... I already thought Qiyana was really good. I mean, literally the rank 4 player on my server is the Qiyana mid main, Dave Mon. He's rank 4. Why are we buffing the champ? Right? I have literally no idea.
Very interesting. I think that she, on average play, isn't problematic.
Yeah.
Right? On average play, she's not problematic. I think if you put her in really good fucking Qiyana players, that's when she becomes problematic. And in jungle, I think she's giga problematic in jungle, because her only weakness, which is the early lane, doesn't really get punished on jungle. So, does this put Qiyana in S tier? I don't think so. I don't think it matters too much in regards to her placement. But good Qiyana players will love this change because of the fact that the thresholds are going to be much easier to achieve, of course. Yeah. So keep an eye on Qiyana, boys. A lot of mid lane changes. I really like it a lot. This is great. Aurelion'Sol. Now, Aurelion'Sol changes, to be specific, they lower his Q mana cost by 10 flat per second. That's a really big deal. And they are slightly lowering the W cooldown scaling in regards to the levels that you put into it. And it's a pretty big deal as well, because on W, you generally tend to max that ability second, because the E ability order is just not so good. Now, this is completely insane on Aurelion'Sol. Because the only way that this guy can play the lane is with using his Q, right? He either flies into you, or he pokes you with Q and he hits like the common and he pokes you out. The problem with the changes that they made like a year ago or something like that is that he was too mana hungry in the lane. He was forced to run double mana in Presence of Mind and Mana Flow Band, and you'd still not be able to like consistently proc your stuff onto the enemies without risking running So them hitting the mana costs, buffing it of course, enables new playstyles where Aurelion'Sol can like tap his Q a little bit more, proc his runes, proc his Mana Flow Band, proc his Comet, whatever he's running, and therefore get a little bit more trading pressure in lane. You gotta keep in mind that the lower someone is in the lane, the easier he's gonna find W angles, and the less he's pressured onto his own last hits because he's exerting threat, because they're lower. So this Aurelion'Sol change is so good for him. It's so good for him. Very big. Yeah.
Not to mention, the only thing I would add to is like just in general, mage like AP mana items are a little understated because you're spending gold for mana, right? Which is a wasted stat. This is a combat power. So, sometimes Aurelion'Sols would skip tier, right? Because you don't want to waste gold on nothing. Like this item gives no stats, right?
The tier is so bad on him. You want to go Rylai's Leandris ASAP.
Exactly. So this will make it a lot easier for you to feel comfortable with your mana, right? Where you don't feel pressure at all to ever have to build a mana item, even in any matchup, which is very big, right? Anytime you play AP champion, you don't need to buy mana item. You're very, very, very happy. I mean, like the manaless Victor builds, right? Stuff like that. You want to find any way you can to not buy mana. So mana buffs on a mage that's mana hungry is absurd.
Yeah, it is. And especially on a champ like Aurelion'Sol, because Aurelion'Sol is a champ that he needs stacks, right? Stacks to be useful. Yep. Now, what is this one item that is so good on him because it's an exponential increase? It's Rylai's. Because you got to keep in mind that the slow from Rylai's allows him to keep people longer in his queue, which gives him extra stacks. It allows him to slow people longer with the E, which gives him extra stacks. This Rylai's item is such an exponential buy for him that him lowering his mana costs, making it easier to just first pick this item whenever he can, gives him so much more agency. Great change. What do you think? Do you think he rises tiers with this?
I don't want to increase him just because the average power level of all these champs are going up. Like Yasuo destroys him, LeBlanc destroys him, Qiyana destroys him.
Yone.
Yone is, I don't even want to say that one. That's like, that is the worst match, one of the worst matchups in the game, to be honest. Like, I'll be dead honest with you, ASOL players. Like, I understand. Like, if there's any type of player that's gonna hate Yone, right? I think the Yone hate's a little overblown, but I think there's any champ that was gonna hate Yone, it's an ASOL player, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you guys. I can understand if you hate Yone.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think he's gonna change. Just even though his power level is going up a lot, the relative power of these mid laners are also skyrocketing too of the other champs. So
yeah. We're gonna put him on top on B tier because I definitely think that he kind of like beats the rest here.
Yeah,
he beats the rest. Okay, let's continue with some more changes. Nasus mid. We didn't talk about Nasus mid last patch. Okay, so what happened to Nasus? Let's do a little bit of inventory here. They gave his stacks for a minion. It usually was 3 per minion, and it went to 4. And they slightly reduced it on cannons and like I think also on turrets and kills. You also got like multiple stacks. They slightly reduced that, but that barely happens. That doesn't happen all that often. This shit is on repeat for laning Nasus. They buffed this. Now what happened is Nasus exploded in mid. He exploded in top because he has a lot of sustain. You can't fucking kill him as a mage on mid lane, and it's free farming for him because of his passive, second with D-Shield, of course, right? Very straightforward. And when he gets such a massive increase on its stacks, which is like a 33% increase on the amount of stacks. I've seen Nasus hit 300 stacks at minute fucking 10, dude.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
On lane. And 300 stacks. I remember when I started playing League, I was a big Nasus
like
top
really
enjoyer.
Good. At like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, 20 minutes. 300 stacks. I'm so happy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Nasus was a bit out of control. He was probably OP, guys. He was probably just OP tier. But they're nerfing him a little bit. Specifically, they're lowering his lifesteal from 12 to 10 and 18. Just slightly reducing the lifesteal on his passive. Are these nerfs enough?
Well, that does kind of hit his sustain, right? That definitely is a hit to his sustain. Like, if we think about it, every time you Q's a creep, that's probably what, like at least 2 or 3 health shaved off every time, right? Realistically speaking, because I think his Q benefits from the lifesteal from his passive.
Yeah,
right?
it is,
damage. So I think on average that's going to be about 2 or 3 HP every time he Qs in the first 10 minutes, right? So that's maybe like 50 to 100 health, I would say, of HP sustain over the course of the laning phase. Mid game, I don't think this really matters at all, to be honest, right? I don't really think that you care that much about their lifesteal in the mid game. This is mostly just for laning, in my opinion. And I don't think it's enough. I still think I've been playing League since the game come out. Before the games come out, I don't think they ever touched his stacking on a non-canon, like non-large minion a single time.
No, they never ever touched it. Correct.
There's the first time in 16 years they've touched his small minion passive stacking for good reason, because he's OP as fuck. Like I swear I'm gonna start playing this guy. I'm gonna start playing this fucking champ.
Yeah, you're gonna be locked up on Nasus mid in the scrims, dude. You're gonna be stacking.
You're gonna see me, the Yone and Bessa Ari guy. Yo, I'm locking in some Nasus, you know. Let me outplay you as my Q.
Give it 2 weeks and you won't be able to play any of your old champs again, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna want to play anything else.
This champ is so fucking unskilled, dude.
He's OP. Yeah, he's so OP. So easy. Like you just buy whichever armor MR boots in mid that goes against the champion you're laning against, and you take no damage anymore for the rest of the lane, right?
That's stupid.
Ridiculous.
They need to remove this shit as soon as possible from
reduce it in pack.
Yeah, put it back on top where he's punishable, you know, with the big boys. You have Olaf or something like that, or like Jax, they can fuck him up. But we Victor players, we just run dead on the second win D shield. There's nothing you can do.
He hits level 6, it press ghost at you, and you die from full health.
You can't break through him as a Victor. It's I tried in the past without him being OP, and it just doesn't work. Work. It's too strong. Okay, that's OP. So we got basically. Oh yeah,
but ASOL is good in Nasus though. That's the only thing I'll say.
Azel's I think, fine. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Azel's probably fine. So let's talk about Cho'gath. Okay, because we had a question on the previous episode. What about Cho'gath mid? Let's just start with, before we read these buffs, where would you put Cho'gath on the list?
Cho'gath's interesting because he's kind of like Nasus in a weird way, where you can't break through a Cho'gath mid, right? In terms of individual just isolating, Cho'gath basically has infinite health entirely, right? His passive is like, he literally heals 20 health at level 1 off of killing a minion or something ridiculous like that, right? So in terms of the lane, the Cho'gath's lane is actually really good in my opinion, right? With Hail Blaze, you fish for Q. The second you land Q, you can walk up and trade. The weakness of Cho'gath is his ability to participate in skirmishes, right? I think the reason why he's a little bit better in top, right, is Cho'gath doesn't need to like be at fights, right? You just kind of like keep stacking your R, but you got this weird dilemma as Cho'gath mid where you don't want to be R'ing to get your stacks because when a fight breaks out, because you're mid laner, right? So it's a little awkward. You gotta use your lane power. So I think he was C tier. I think C tier is perfect for Cho'gath. Right?
We had one Cho'gath OTP in EOS that was playing him on mid lane, and what happened is that every single time I was blind picking Ryze or Syndra back in the days when I was just fucking 1.5 months ago. Back in the days, that like I'm fucking an elderly or something. I don't know which guy it exactly was, but I was playing either Xerath or Ryze into Cho'gath. He couldn't play the fucking game. It was unplayable. He was undeterred 24/7, and you just run move speed chart with short clicks, and you just stand away outside of the wave. And you have one self peel spell, and he just cannot play the game.
Right.
So it's not a blind Cho'gath mid. It's not a blind.
Right.
There's champs fuck you up too hard. But yeah, if you find the right conditions, there's probably some matchups that you can.
He's good against melee champs because of his E, which they're buffing as well. Right? You take Hail Blades, you press E, you just hit them 3 times. Very, very good.
I can see Cho'gath's like destroy Katarinas, for example, right? Or like Fizz, or like some shit like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yasuo as well does very well. Yasuo, you just E auto R hit.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. So he basically gets more E base damage than flat,
that's basically it.
That's it, right? That's still
and
decent.
This is the offset the Hail Blades nerf, right? Because that did hit him pretty bad. Because he lost the attack speed from Hail Blades.
Right.
Lost 30% last patch. I think this is just to counteract that, because it feels losing that much attack speed on Cho'gath when you're trying to get the triple E, because you don't care about the extra damage, you don't build that much AP, so it's just like a straight nerf to him.
Yeah. Yep. Fair. So
I think it doesn't change much.
I'll put him in C tier, but I'm not gonna rate him because I don't think he's a mid laner.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Xerath changes. Slight nerf to Xerath.
No idea why.
He needed it. Xerath's kind of broken.
No, literally no idea why. This champ is so bad already. Maybe in bot, I guess. Maybe he was running out.
Of course on bot, but even in higher elo on bot, he wasn't like extremely good.
Yeah.
Because everyone dodges his spells. One of my best friends, Emerald 4 peak, probably somewhere, usually in platinum somewhere throughout the split, has never tried to improve ever in his life. He's missed a skill shot. Okay, this guy locks in Lux OTP, and then he was like, I'm gonna try Xerath. And what happens the moment he played Xerath, he just started landing every skill shot. And he's like, well, this champ is broken. And then you see, I've spectated some of his platinum games, and the enemies don't know what to do.
They don't know how to dodge.
And then you have the Xerath ult, boom, 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 bot lane, kill, right? And you got the people tilting throughout the roof because they don't know how to punish Xerath. So this champion is completely busted in lower ranks because he doesn't get punished. And there's a lot of A-ramming, and the poke is OP.
Right.
So honestly, fair nerfs, fair play to Riot. Fair play, right? They need to make a change like this to make
reduce the frustration.
Yeah, reduce the frustration in lower ranks. Now the nerf is not immense. Like, it's slightly lower base armor, which leaves him more vulnerable to assassins, and of course for bot lane especially, and slightly lower base Q damage. It's like, honestly, he's still C tier, dude. Just find a decent matchup and he's gonna be okay. Okay. This is a nice segue into some questions that we got on the previous episode again. Artillery mages. Why are artillery mages like Vel'Koz and Lux in the dog shit tier? We have probably discussed this 5 times already over the past year. Give it 60 seconds, AJ. Run down, why are these champs dog shit tier?
Yeah, so I think let's start with why people think they're good. Okay, I'm actually going to start there. Okay, the reason why is, like you were just saying, because A-ramming is so important, and it's hard to dodge skill shots. So it feels really, really OP when you're playing them. Now, in higher elo, what happens? You can't fucking sideline with these champions. You're forced to A-ram 24/7. And basically what happens is you go from 10 CS per minute to like 5 CS per minute because you're stuck on mid, A-ramming 24/7. And that's also why they're bad in mid and good in bot, right? Because in bot, you get to A-ram for free. On punish, you get all the farm. When you're mid, you have to deal with all these pesky assassins like a Rengar or a Qiyana and stuff like that. You just cannot sidelane, and you are stuck in mid, and that's the problem. They have no flexibility. They got no options. All you've got is you better hope to God that your ARAM siege wins. That's it. Yep. You don't have enough options, and they're very punishable in lane as well.
Great.
Punishable. You play against Yone, you can't play.
Fantastic! You hit it under a minute. That's a record time. This is the record time that we've done. We practiced this. We've answered this. Love it. Very, very, very clear. Okay, I want to talk about Locke. Okay, we put Locke in C tier as a counter pick, but I've been having my doubts about this placement. I don't necessarily think he's like Giga OP, but I don't think he's C tier, dude. I think he's like A or A tier.
I agree. I agree because the reason why I think he's actually better is he has a lot of options in lane. That's I think the thing I missed out on. You can always wave clear and reset whenever you want because there's an immense amount of wave clear with his triple Q into the E, right? That alone allows him to get a lot of control over the lane, right? And I think that's what makes Akali good in pro play as well. Akali in pro play has the ability to contest lane early game with her, like, just with the way her kit works. So I think it's the same with Locke. And I think that's what I was personally underrating that. Locke has a lot of tools to navigate laning phase, which gives him an edge over a lot of assassins, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's interesting, dude. He's got some clear weaknesses as well, right? Because this champion cannot hit minions from a distance.
Yeah.
Right. Without using his Q, which is the main trading tool as well. So very good Locke players will manage to find ways around, like using their spells for trading and the wave state, and they use their movement really well. So I've spectated some showmaker Locke. He's a really fucking good Locke, and he doesn't seem C tier to me. So it felt off seeing him in there. I think we missed the mark last video.
I think we're too harsh on him. I think he's good. He's decent.
Yep. Yeah. He's decent. Okay. We have some more questions here. Akshan. Let's revisit Akshan. How good is Akshan really? Because there were a lot of comments in the previous episode about people thinking that we slightly missed the mark on Akshan. And we had him like an A tier or like S tier. And then we put him up to S plus thinking the changes would be good for him. But we did a bit of digging. Before this recording, me and AJ already did a bit of digging. And it seems like also on Akshan, we were slightly wrong in assessing his viability. Yeah. Now let's discuss why that's probably the case. Merc's nerf, right? On mid lane, Akshan plays versus a lot of mages, which generally counter him, and Merc's really helps him. And the flat magic resist that he gains kind of got negated by the empowered Sorks. Plus, his magic resist growth got reduced, and on mid lane, that's of course way more important than on other lanes because you get more experience. And that means that in general, the value of Zamar is slightly worse versus many mages that he was playing into. And his win rate has also slowed down massively since they changed the previous patches.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
The champ meta. I think something that I think I missed the mark on was the champ meta. Yasuo, Nasus, Cassio, Syndra, all these fucking champs destroy Akshan.
Yeah, they destroy him.
So I think I missed the mark there, and I overrated the MR change. Like Akshan's actually not a strong laning champion unless you suck at playing against him, right? I don't think he's that strong in lane. Like he's good at some of the melees. Yeah, it's like gimmicky. Yeah, it's like the second you understand when they need to E, how they E, he's like not that amazing, right?
No,
he's okay. He's nothing crazy though, which I failed to recognize. But now reflecting and thinking about it, I think he's like Tristana in a way, like a little gimmicky with his trades.
Yep, I would put him next to her. I think that's a lot more fair place. But I don't think he's bad by any means, right? He's still a solo queue gold. But especially with these meta changes as well, Yasuo up there.
Yeah. Nasus with armor boots, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, he probably must ban Nasus, no, or he can't play the game. Actually, he might just fly away the moment Nasus press W.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe.
I guess you can impact the map, but like, I don't know.
I need to see that matchup. I need to see that match. It's probably bad as fuck for Akshan. It's probably unplayable. You talk about Trist. I finally know why all of these Trist buffs have been coming through over the past few weeks and patches.
Caps.
Yeah. The moment I saw Caps having Trist as his skin, I finally understood that's why Trist has gotten all these changes. They've literally prepared us, right? They've spoon-fed us Twist buffs for mid lane so that the Caps mid-Trist pick wouldn't look that much out of line. And I'm going to be honest, I'm heavily disappointed by the skin choice.
I have absolutely no idea why he picked Tristana.
Okay. Here's a theory.
Why not do an Nivea or something?
Here's the theory. He's not an Nivea guy. He's like the LeBlanc, Silas
LeBlanc
guy.
Yeah.
The theory is that Riot has pre-planned all their Hall of Legends guys already, right? And that for example, the big boys already have got their champs linked to them so that Caps couldn't get it.
I see what you're saying.
That's a theory, what I saw. And I was like, hey, maybe that's the case, but still...
Like Showmaker LeBlanc, for example.
Yeah, or Showmaker Syndra even, right?
Right.
Like Showmaker Syndra, the shit he did to Humanoid, that was like the nastiest shit ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something I want to talk about Showmaker for a second, because have you seen any of his VODs by any chance? Okay, if you get the chance, must watch it. This guy is freaky. And the shit, he is like, whenever I see him play versus Chovy, I have the feeling that he is contesting. I have the feeling he's playing the game. When I watch some other laners versus Chovy, I have the feeling that they're just bleeding dry.
You think
slowly.
Showmaker's leveled up a lot?
I think Showmaker, yeah. And the reason why he's doing that is because this guy is the master skill checker. The way that he plays the game, he plays it so unstructured comparatively towards Chovy. Chovy is so structured on all of these minions. Chovy is the minion guy. Showmaker will just skill check the fuck out of you at times when it doesn't really...
Like handscap and stuff.
He will handscap you, and he lands every Syndra Q in the lane on non-last hits. Right? He will just land every Q on non-last hits.
Right.
Completely skill gapping you in the hands. And I think that's something that Chovy may not be super comfortable playing into when someone who's just going a bit more chaotic and Rambo like Showmaker. Very impressive to watch that. It's such a different style of mid lane. I might do a Showmaker review. If you guys are still watching and you guys want to see Showmaker review, check it in the comments.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's revisit S+ tier, because S+ tier is big as fuck, and I don't like having the big as fuck S+ tier.
Yep.
OP tier is pretty sad. These champs are still OP.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's talk about the 5 champs that must be in S+ tier.
Yasuo for sure.
Yasuo.
1000%. That's me also. Rise, Ari. I would say those 3 are non-negotiable. Everything else we can negotiate, in my opinion.
Yeah, we can negotiate this. Yone is
for me, I
kind
of like having Yone and LeBlanc here because they're like new, and I just want to keep over push them a little bit and kind of see where we're at. I feel like that we could reevaluate next time. Because I have a feeling they could be really good, and this is like kind of our dark horse picks, you know? Because I can see a world where LeBlanc just gets fucked by these champs still, right? The meta champs. And I can see a world where Yone can't play the game until first item still as well.
Let's do it. I think Aurora, I've not seen much Aurora, actually.
Yeah, I'm biased because I spam Aurora.
I think she's good. Like, she's really good.
She's unpopular.
But she's hard, man. Like, there's very little...
I don't know why people say that. I don't feel that, but I could be insanely biased.
Nah, but you got to keep in mind that Aurora, if you're worse than the enemy laner, you're gonna get exposed when you play Aurora, because she's full skill shot reliant, and her learning curve in that case is very brutal. It's a really brutal champion to actually learn and play, even in higher elos. Whenever you play against people who know how waves work and who knows how trading works, so Aurora is just fucking hard, because the moment you reach the wall of the players that are getting just as good or better than you, you're going to start losing heart and you're going to feel miserable. I want to see what happened to Ekko last patch with the Hill of Blades.
Oh, yeah, and the Sork's buff, Merc's in nerf. So it's kind of like a split there in terms of...
Yeah. It's pretty even for Ekko.
Isn't this Ekko jungle though? Why does this say Dark Harvest?
It's fucking jungle.
Check the win rate of Hill, but if you scroll down, you can check the win rate of the runes. Let's see what the win rate of the runes say. Still quite good. Like, I think if you click that, I'll show you the stats of previous patches.
Really?
Yeah, you can see the win rate there. Yeah, if you change it from patch 16.5, do 30 days.
Right.
With Hellblade selected. Yeah, if you click that.
Okay.
There you go. Now you can check the win rate difference if you scroll down.
Right, I can also do this.
Yeah, or you could do that. Yeah. So not really, like a little bit. Yeah. Or around the same, to be honest. Because the Sork buff helped them, right? And the Mercs and Nerf helped them. So they got offset.
I do think that Ekko likes these champs a little bit less. Like, Yasuo is not like a super happy matchup for Ekko. It's a pretty annoying one.
LeBlanc is really bad.
LeBlanc it's playable. Like Ekko he's got some tricks up his sleeve, but it's not ideal. I would say I would probably put him in A tier. I wouldn't like put him blatantly overpowered anymore. I think the other champs are better. What about Hwei? I've not seen any Hwei. Where the fuck is Hwei? Have you seen any Hwei?
No, I have not.
Maybe Hwei is worse as well.
We switch up on Hwei so much, right? We go from great to bad.
He's just good, man. I just don't think a lot of people play him. He's good. Let's keep him where he's at right now. I want everyone's opinion on Hwei. All right? Everyone's educated, expert opinion. Check it in the comments. Any champs that stand out to you? For me, it looks pretty
looks very
solid.
Good. I like our list. I'm very happy with our list.
Yep. Looks pretty solid. Pretty big changes this patch, man. This was a fun patch.
This changed a lot. Yeah, we changed the list. This is the most we changed the list in a while, I think, in terms of the ordering of the top tiers.
The top tiers have got a bit of a shakeup. I like it. Yeah. Okay, guys, keep your eyes on Yone, Yasuo, LeBlanc, and Nasus. All right, these are the big champs to keep in mind. If you want just to print some free LP, play some Nasus mid. But keep in mind, it will be 10 elo because he will get nerfed and you're going to lose because the skills don't translate. You're definitely becoming a worse player. But yeah, it's a good one to keep in mind, especially if you play like an 80 or into champ. Don't be shy banning. If you're planning to play one of these champs, don't be shy banning Nasus in advance because there's probably some people going to be abusing the shit out of that champion just to get that sweet LP.
100%.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you want to check out AJ, check out his YouTube channel. He's going to be linked in the description. Thank you all for watching. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks with a new PATCHCAST. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.